Good evening! It's Thursday! It's Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny. It feels a little bit odd to be here on a Thursday afternoon, or Thursday evening, rather. I can see that we've got people that have already come to join us. We've got Leslie and we've got Jeff. Leslie says, I'm early, but howdy doody do, folks. And Jeff Lacey says, oi, oi. Hi, welcome. Yeah, it was a little bit last minute, just trying to get the show to come on this week. So thanks for those of you that are going to come online and watch live on Thursday. Like I said, I'm on holiday this week. I'm going out for a meal with my nan, who I haven't seen for ages because of lockdown and just general life. So yeah, tomorrow is a little bit different for me, and it's just going to be lovely. I didn't want to disappoint you guys. I definitely wanted to make that weekly appearance as I always have, even through Christmas and New Year. Didn't want it to be a letdown now. So here we are on a Thursday, still doing the same things that we always do. Leslie says, and the sound is perfect, no problems at all. Thanks very much. Yeah, literally, as I was pushing live, I was just like, oh, I haven't done my camera setups. So I kind of did all that, and it's all working. It's all fine. I've got it pinched in today. Last week, more embarrassment in the terms of being cut off. It was just unavoidable. There was nothing I could do about it. Once it happens, it happens. It's really unprofessional, but it's one of those things. Good evening, Adrian. I see you coming in there. Nice to join. Nice of you to join us again. Thank you very much for coming along. Yeah, if it happens again, if I get cut off again, the only thing that I can do. Luke, hi, heyo. Nice to see you again, mate. Thanks for coming along. The only thing I can do is just stop the stream if I get cut off. I just push it says reconnect. I push the reconnect button and it just kills it. I've been looking at ways to kind of improve my reconnection. It just seems to be one of those things that I have to deal with. I will always continue to seek better methods of reconnecting, or just not losing the connection at all. I think last week was just a freak incident as my new network provider kind of settles in, if that's the right term. They are really good. My upload speeds are fantastic compared to what I've been used to. If it happens, I just go straight away to YouTube. I just start a new live stream. It's the easiest, most efficient thing for me to do. So yeah, if it happens again, just literally reload YouTube and see if you can find the latest video to watch, because that's where I'm gonna be. Apologies if it happens. I get very little warning. It goes ping pong in my headphones and then that's it. It just cuts out, which is a shame. Anyway, yeah, it's just a part of being live. It's fine. So today is going to be the last week of the Eldar Webway Portal thing, which I don't want to bring up into the shot just yet because it's quite a few things have occurred to it since the last time you've seen it. I want it to be the last week that we do anything on here. There might be some tweaks and things that I do to it after tonight's show, and that's mostly going to be just adding things like static grass. That is a mighty task. It takes up a lot of space. It's not the easiest thing to get in the camera, and generally it's not really that exciting. I will do a show on static grass. I might even do like a bit of a Danny tutorial on it, who knows, if you guys are interested, because it's not as easy or as simple as just getting some static grass and throwing it out there. There are machines and other things to go with it. So I'm going to do everything up to that tonight, hopefully, and get it finished, which is everything again bar the static grass. And then once I do put the grass and other bits and pieces like that on it, anything additional later on, I'll just take some photos. I'll put it on Instagram, I'll put it on the Facebook thing and in Discord as well, and I will show it at the next show, whenever that's going to be. But yeah, we're looking to actually get some things done. All I've done really over the last week is just kind of neaten up some of the bits and pieces that I was doing last week, which is just a lot of those kind of black gemstones. I've glossed them. They look really cool. Just neaten up a little bit. I put it on a base just this afternoon before we went live on the show, and then I've just been kind of cleaning up my workspace a little bit. Had a bit of a drama in the studio because the window's been open while it's been bonkers hot. It's much cooler today, but the wind has come in, blown the curtain, or the blind, which is behind a curtain, and has knocked all my little 15mm tanks everywhere. There were no damages, but I had to go in and kind of rescue them. Yeah. And then just as I was getting started, one of my big sable brushes, the last time I did anything with it, of course I was using stains and things, and I never washed it out, and it was rock solid, but I've just saved it. and I'll show you a little bit about that in just a moment. If you are new here to Easy 8, this isn't a tutorial channel by any stretch. This is just a painting club. So if you're looking for somewhere online just to kind of come and spend some time live or on the replay, just to kind of have in the background or get stuck in with the community, talking about the the things that you're painting, getting through your collections and your hoards of unpainted plastic, then this is absolutely the place to be, or at least one of them if it's up your street, and I really hope it is. We've got an ever-growing community. We've had some more subscribers over the last week, a little bit more on that later on. So if you want to know when we go live or if I get cut off, an easy way of kind of following us there is just hit the subscribe button down in the bottom corner and hit the little bell icon. Every little subscribe is a little gesture from you, really helps this community grow, and I feel fantastic whenever anybody does. We have had some more subscribers recently, and I'm almost at the 40 mark. That's really exciting. Leslie says, no, Tank Avalanche. Yeah, my little... I was going to say Abrams. They are not Abrams. My little M4s. Shermans. What? Where did that go? Somewhere out there. My Shermans have got delicate little 50 cals on the top, and I had a feeling they may have snapped off. They didn't. They bounced. They were all good. There was just turrets and hulls and things scattered all over the place. Yeah. So maybe you fancy coming along and watching us on Facebook. You can join us over there. You can see some pictures that I load up on Instagram as well. Got Discord, so if you want to join us after the show, I am not going to be on Discord today because I am preparing for an early start tomorrow at work before I then go on holiday, so I won't be on Discord. But the Discord server is there for you guys, so if you want to kind of go hang out somewhere together as a community, go for it. It's there. Yeah, I would love to know what you're doing this evening. So if you are kind of working on some projects, whether it be painting, whether it be making, maybe just kind of hobbying out and you're just kind of chilling out, but it doesn't really, it's not really a painting thing. It doesn't matter. Come along, join in, get involved in the live chat over there because we've got some chatty people over there already. We normally have Kyle. We were going to have him. He was planning for tomorrow, but of course, at last minute, I had to change the day for today, and I just haven't been able to get in contact with it. It just seems like he's always just forever out of our grasp. No. But I suppose it works, doesn't it? Because this little project I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, get that done. Next week, hopefully, come back in with Kyle, start something new. That'll be nice. Yeah. So, Kyle, hope you're well. If you're watching this, maybe you watch it back on the replay. Maybe you're not going to watch it at all, in which case, to you. Anyway. That is a gross cup of tea that I've made. If you're ever going to make a cup of tea, make it better than that. That is awful, and that's all I've got for the rest of the afternoon. Anyway, let's head on over to the workbench. I'm just going to turn my volume down on my headset there because it's a little on the loud side and I can't hear myself. Cool, my workbench over here. So I have been cleaning my big tank brush here because, it had enamel paint in it of all things, and that's normally that's game over for a brush if you leave it in there. Same as leaving like white spirit in a brush. Terps is another kind of type of white spirit and is often, is also called brush stiffener. I don't know why you would actually want to stiffen your brushes. Maybe there's a really good reason for it, but basically leaving it in enamels or white spirit is a surefire way of ruining your brushes. I've done it before. However, I've rescued this one in a very short space of time, which is extremely exciting. I've raved about this before. Green Stuff World brush cleaner. A big, a drop about the size of my thumbnail on the table here, and I just kind of saturated the bristles, moved them around, agitated it, just kind of I don't want to damage the bristles, so I didn't go mental with it. A little bit of water, added it, and just frothed it. Brush is clean. Simples. It's really good stuff. I know that there are other brush cleaners out there, probably in larger amounts. They're more expensive, but ounce for ounce or whatever, they're probably more efficient in terms of price. But this stuff is just excellent. Have a go. Saved my brush. Such a good brush. I'm hoping to use it this evening, so okay. Leslie says, I've just finished making my Battletech town. of maturity. I did very sensible, non-childish things to the buildings. I'm going to be painting some plastic trees in a bit. Fantastic. You say in maturity because normally you do Nurgle scenery, so you just kind of have artistic rain on just doing grotesque things. Yeah, I've seen your stuff. It's very cool. Adrian says, last 2 artillery tanks, a pair of wyverns for 40k, of course. Fantastic. Then onto the Chimera, and then onto the last 9 battle tanks, and that'll be all my tanks done. Just another 33 tanks, another 112. Crikey, that's a lot of tanks. I'm still struggling to do my Panther. Anyway, let's move on to what I have been working on. Here it is. This is the Eldar Web Portal. So I didn't really want to do all this basing stuff before the show, but I kind of had to because it had to sort of dry. It's not 100% dry. I think I made the mixture of this substance a little too wet, but it's my first ever go using it. It's incredible fun playing with this stuff. This product that you see here looks like plaster, but it is not. It is called Sculptamould, and it is a fantastic product. It's my first time using it. I've seen it being used, and it's wonderful. It is a little costly, but it depends on how much you're going to use it, buy it, whatever. It is essentially modeller's paper mache. It's like paper fibers, and I think probably mixed in there is a dry kind of PVA sort of glue. It's a dry mixture. I think it kind of activates when you add water. You add 2 parts Sculptamould, you add 1 part water, mix them very quickly, and then slap it on and just kind of use a brush or a tool. On it goes. I've got the little bag down here. Let me move my bench. This is Sculptamould. This was given to me by Jeff, my dad, when I went to go see him earlier on because he cut out some MDF bases for me. So this is Sculptamould. Sculptamould. I think I spelled it wrong actually in the description to this video. If you want to have a little look down there, I'm sure I mention it. I think I put a U here, but who cares? It says here, modelling and casting compound for all ages. Finished objects are lightweight and extremely durable. And then it says it in various languages. Unnecessary. And yeah, you can use it for casting, you can use it for moulding. I know Jeff at Purple Lion Creations uses it for almost everything terrain. It's just got such a healthy range of uses. It's fantastic stuff, and what I really like about it is the smell. Let me just kind of open it up so you can see what the actual substance is like and get my hand in it. It looks like plaster of Paris, but if I kind of pull this out, you can see that it's very fibrous. It's very fine, it's slightly dusty, so there might be like a plaster mixture in there perhaps. Yeah, and the idea is you just mix this with water. You don't want to get water in here because that would be bad. And it kind of comes out clumpy. It dries pretty quickly. I think I made my mixture just a little too wet, so it's still drying now. It should only take about half an hour. I did this about an hour and a half ago and it's almost dry, but it was my first time using it. It was really quick and easy, and it was really fun. Jeff's put a comment in there. Oh, as is Leslie. Leslie says, yep, this town may be banned, but I couldn't resist. Yeah, fair. Jeff says, Leslie, I have done a little bit of work on your tree. We'll get a picture a little bit later on. I've actually seen your tree face to face. When I had a look at it earlier on, it looks amazing. I've actually taken some photos, and I can send you those a bit later on if you want. It looks incredible. You're not going to be unhappy. It's great, mate. You're going to love it. So yeah, that's Sculptamould. Basically underneath here is an MDF base, just cut out nice and wiggly. 2 layers, one a little bit smaller, kind of random shapes, just kind of give it a bit more height rather than just being flat, and I super glued those together, and then I super glued this portal onto that, and then I sculpted. I just kind of threw Sculptamould down on it, just kind of random, didn't really care about where it was going. I wanted it to look like that the structure was kind of embedded a little bit. I could have brought it up a little bit higher, but there's some nice little details and stuff down here that I didn't want to go mental with, so I just thought I would do that and then maybe let the grass do the work later. I was thinking about putting some kind of on the level surfaces in here to make it like over the centuries or whatever that is kind of built up in there, but that might be one of those little additions that I do a little bit later on because I don't really know how this is going to come out, so I don't want to kind of put it on there and potentially ruin it. we'll find out, see what happens. And also you can see that I've neatened up the brass colour on here. I'm getting sculptamould fingerprints all over the model. Yeah, there we go. Get rid of that. I'll give that a little wash in a second. Yeah, so basically what I did is I painted this brassy brass. Yeah, for brassy brass. Brassy brass is this Vallejo colour here. Brassy brass is Kyle's favourite paint name. And then I gave it a wash with Blue Tone from Army Painter. This is really nice. I was in a bit of a rush to kind of get stuff done last week because I'm always kind of concerned that I'm slow, and I slapped it on a little bit too quick, I think, and it kind of pulled in some places, but the general effect of it sort of works and it made it look different, you know. And I did put some other brown stains in there as well to kind of mix it up a little bit. And then where it pulled up, I went and got some of the brassy brass and just kind of patched it up a little bit to make it not so rubbishy, basically. And then I went and highlighted with a little bit of bright bronze, which is an ever so slightly brighter metallic colour. If I get both of those up, we looked at these last week. So here's the brass, here's the bronze. I didn't do a dry brush, I just kind of picked out some edges in a very, very light and quick sort of line edging, just to brighten it up and soften it up a little bit. And it really looks kind of cool. Remember that I wasn't really going for artwork of the century with this. It was just kind of getting it done nice and quickly. Move my lights in a bit there. You can also see that I've blacked out all these gems. They're not the neatest of lines at the bottom there, but it's not the neatest of 3D prints for a model, and I've glossed them, and that looks really cool. And I have to say that I don't think the camera really does it justice, but they're all nice and glossy. Took about 3 or 4 coats of gloss. I just literally dropped it on, kind of let it run, and then it didn't take very long to do that at all, which is great. And generally the overall effect is really quite pleasing. I wish I could just paint faster. Can't. So what I'm going to do today to get started, I know that this is a little bit on the damp side. If I was to kind of push hard, it probably would be a little bit fragile. But when it's dry, it will go rock solid and really, really light. Basically, all the moisture in there's got to get out. It's got to evaporate, and it will just lose a very large percentage of its weight, which is what we want, right? And yeah, and what I've done to super glue the pieces together, I used some just really good quality super glue, cyanoacrylate, so none of that cheap stuff that you can get like in massive packets from the pound store or anything like that. This is from Grease World, obviously, and I also use the activator, so I put a good amount on the surface, on one surface, spray the other surface, and as soon as they contact, they're done, and they ain't ever coming apart. So yes, that's that. And the activator smells funny, so maybe ventilate if you are going to use those. Some more comments going in. Leslie says, sculptamould, I have not heard of this and it sounds easy to use. Gotta get me some. I thought you might be interested in this, and that's why I was quite keen to kind of mention it and show you the packet, because I know that you do a lot of terrain building and you use a lot of other materials. I think it could be a bit of a lifesaver for you in terms of the materials that you already use right now. A sculptamould's going to go a long way, and once you kind of get used to that, you could probably experiment with making your own mixtures just by making paper mache to cover larger areas, and then going over with a lighter amount of something like this will probably, it's going to give you a really strong paper mache slash plaster kind of texture, rigidity, strength. It's really good stuff, mate. Just have a little go. Yeah. If you want to get some links on where to buy sculptamould, I'll probably link some a little bit later on. If not, just Google it, man. Leslie also goes on to say, thank you, Jeffrey Lacey. I can't wait. Thanks, Danny. Yes, please. Yeah, sure. I'll send you those pictures. You're going to love it. It's amazing. It's looking pretty pustuous. Is that a word? Let's make that a word. Pustules. Seriously, dude, that looks killer. I really like the black gem look. Thanks, man. Yeah, it was never supposed to be like an epic piece. It was how much can I get out of something so quick and simple, and I really like it so far. So what I'm going to do, I've been narrowing away just to kind of give it a little bit more time, just to get this a bit more drier. I'm going to spray this a brown colour just so that I hide the white, because I'm going to use this colour Dark Mud, which is something I forgot about when I was writing the schedule for the show, because I explained I was going to use grime and rust and slime. But actually for the ground I want to use Dark Mud. I've used this on some 28mm tank models to kind of give like mud splashes. But basically what I want to do is I want to have like a realistic colour underneath the grass. And I thought that this might be a really good colour to use. It needs a really good shake. You can see that the enamel has separated from the pigment down there because I haven't used it in such a long time. Can you see that in there? Weird. So I would like to get like a little mixer, little vortex mixer for it, but that's for another day. I'm going to kind of splash this over it later, and hopefully that should dry. And then I'm going to leave that anyway, and then it's straight over to slime effects and grime and rust, etc. But let's get this bad boy painted. Let's get one of my lovely pieces of paper here. Some more comments going in. Leslie says pusterous. I love it. I don't know how to spell it though. Yeah, me neither. Jess says sculptamould is the best thing ever in terrain making, between £11 to £12 ish per pack. Do you know, I actually thought it was 4 times that price. So clearly somewhere along the line I've got my wires mixed up. That makes it so much more accessible for the average maker. You should definitely go and get some. Here's a little pot where I was mixing it earlier on, and it's ever so slightly damp. Ever so slightly, but it's now not anywhere near as supple as it was kind of to manipulate. It was really soggy like wet tissue paper, but it's really quite solid now. It feels like semi-dry clay. I'm squeezing it, you can see the water coming out of it, so all that's got to evaporate. Doesn't really matter what that I'm going to be painting over it right now. It will still evaporate. It'll be fine. Right. Get all that mixture off of my hands. I'm going to bring my airbrush up. I've also got some new toys. I'm going to show you that in a minute. You're going to love it. Let's have a little look. The colours that I like to use. I really like charred brown. This is a really good colour for rusts and things. I use it as my rust base. However, there are other colours that can work. Like I've got earth colour, which I don't seem to have pulled out. Oh, here it is. So I've got earth, which is a much lighter. Let me give that a good mix, because it might be that I don't really want a massively dark colour base here, but maybe charred earth is the way to go. So earth is a really light colour. I'm looking at that already. It's probably a rubbish idea. I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to go straight in with charred brown, because it's a colour that I know and trust. Charred brown by Vallejo. Leslie says that's the same price as a big reel of green stuff. That's very affordable. Cheers, guys. Yeah, you were using green stuff for all of your terrain, weren't you? Yeah, this is much better. I'm going to throw my bottle. Got a nice little view count going in there. Didn't expect that for a Thursday. Thanks ever so much for coming along. Don't forget to subscribe if you're so inclined. Yeah, it's nice to know that the community are there supporting me throughout the week. It's really nice to come. It's been a very long couple of days. It's been a very long couple of days, and it's just nice to know that you guys are there supporting me and each other. It's not about me. It's about everyone, you know. So thanks for coming along. Right, a couple of drops of this in there. Remember the recipe that I've started to develop over time now. A couple of drops of that, round about 10 to 12 of the colour. Not crackle medium. What am I doing? Crackle medium. Airbrush flow improver. I put in a couple of drops of this. 1, 2, and then just to thin it and help that flow improver, I put 1 drop of thinner in there. I know you guys can't see that. I know I'm a little bit out of shot. Just like to keep talking, man. Right, where is my mixing brush? I have my mixing brush. And mix that directly in the hopper. Here we go. My airbrush is seized because I haven't cleaned it properly. There we go, cool. It's, like I said, it's been a long day. Right, so I'm just going to keep it nice and simple at one end here. The idea is just to hide any white. I don't want it to show through. It would break the whole thing. Actually, I'm going to get some nice variations in tones here because the white is acting as a base coat, as a primer, if you like. So if I go heavier, I can get some nice darker tones. There was me thinking that if I used earth as a colour, it would allow me to have like variations in tones. not needed. But I've made tanks before and done like dirt, like mud effects on their tracks, and I've put plaster on there, and then I've coloured over the top of that plaster. And what's happened is, as it's kind of, you know, been used and fractured and chipped away, it exposes white underneath it. So yeah, that's what I'm nervous about. I don't want to like have any white kind of exposed through and show off underneath. Is this going to chip? Is it going to break? Who knows? Being on the games table, anything could happen, right? It is flowing very nicely despite the airbrush being not set up right. You can see some sort of variation in the colour depth, if you like. I'm not going to go close against the actual structure itself just yet. And I wonder if I like made it too thick. Is it not random enough? You know, and I'm hoping that actually the grass, when that goes on, is going to do a lot more for it. Again, I could have spent a really long time sculpting the grass and making it look like it kind of blends away into, you know, the tabletop or whatever. But who knows what's under the ground underneath this thing. I just kind of wanted a nice looking piece. When I come from different angles, I'm starting to see like little white lines where the topography of it, if you like, is kind of like preventing the air, you know, the airflow from getting there. So I've got to kind of change the angle around a little bit here and there, and make sure that I get some nice coverage. Like from here, for example, I can see it. It looks like a burned marshmallow. Or meringue. I love meringue. Just slowing down, going a bit more gentle now, getting right up in there. Getting right up in there. Already the character of this whole thing is changing now, putting a little bit of tone on the bottom here. It's working. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to need to put that earth wash on, that mud wash. Maybe I'll do some splashes or something. That'd be interesting. This is like a nice undercoat colour that's going to go under where the grass is. I'd love to get your opinions. Let me know. Now I don't really mind if I ever so slightly get this colour on the bottom down here, because it's just going to add to the weathering effect, and it may actually be hidden when I put the grass on anyway. Who knows? Obviously I don't want to go too far with that. Almost there. Just making sure I'm coming in from all angles. Got my concentration voice on, which, you know, is no voice. In fact, I might actually be quite deliberate and get a little bit of this colour around the base of the actual structure. Just to kind of blend those transition points in. Because it would be dirty, wouldn't it? It would be muddy, soily, dusty, whatever. think I'm just out of the paint. I think it's just run out, which is a little bit annoying because I've only got that tiny little bit left to go just down here. Just make sure that I'm getting all of your comments in here. Jeff says the green of the grass brings out the colours of the piece. Yeah, you're right. When you put that kind of that last little bit of static grass on there, or whatever flock it is that you're going to use, it does enhance everything. I always stain the bottom of the model with a brown, make it look like it's been sat in the earth for years. Yeah, I might actually just kind of put a little dusting of this colour on there. Leslie says that looks so cool. The airbrushed earth is a really cool effect. It is, isn't it? Thank you very much. I'm making it up as I go along. This isn't like a a well-established scheme or technique or anything. I've still got a little bit in here, so that's cool. I thought I'd just run out. It's getting close, I think. Yeah, I've got a little bit on the bottom now. That's actually really working, so I'm just going to do that all around the bottom. What's important is I get all of that white out of that sculptamould. I don't want it there. Okay, let's just get some... Just trying to be nice and light with it. If I get in nice and close, I get like nice precise lines, and the further I come away, obviously I get like a finer misted over larger area. Just making sure I've got some airflow coming out. It's quite hard to see where I'm spraying now because it's all starting to kind of blend in, which is the desired effect, right? Quite cool, right? Compared to the other side. That's the other side there. See how it sits in the bottom there. Turn it around. That's quite neat, right? I'm going to try to not get too much weathering effect on the gemstones. I want those to stand out. Why aren't they dirty? Maybe some sort of weird alien thing. I don't know, you know. Just trying to make it look a little bit, different and stand out-ish. I don't want... Obviously down here there's more chance of... Sorry, I'm not pointing. Down here, where these ones are, there's more chances of being covered in dirt, so those would be... And maybe a little bit of grime effects over them, but I really want that kind of glossiness to be a bit of an eye-catcher, you know. Yeah, it's really working really well. I'm really happy with that. And then obviously I'm going to try and get a little bit in here, so I'm just going to dust those off just a little bit without going too far. So almost like pre-shading, really. It's really quite exciting. Yeah, that's really cool. Just going to put a little bit on the top of those bits on the side here because, you know, dirt and dust, right, would sit on top of flat surfaces or, you know, any kind of ledge area. Now I can just kind of be bolder around, use up the last of the stuff that's in there, airbrush. Adrian says, painting a layer of brown before flocking is a classic railway modeller's technique. I can recall Father doing this on his layout. He used a tin of brown house paint though. Do you know what? It doesn't matter though, does it? If it gets you the results that you want. I know loads of people who make professional stuff that use actual house paints. You'd be surprised who does it, because they're easily, you know, You can acquire them very easily. They're often very cost effective, and you get them in large quantities. Why wouldn't you? As long as the pigment's right, you know, the actual colour is right, yeah, do it. I totally rate that. And then Jeff says, if anyone is going to do big pieces of terrain, use the house paint. Otherwise it will cost you a fortune. There you go. See? House paint. I wasn't about to give Pepperline Creations game away, but there it is for all to see. Just got the last few little bits and, you know, bits of white kind of sticking through. Just trying to make sure that I, you know, get the majority of it done. I'm sure when the static grass goes on, the majority of it will be hidden. I just don't want to take any risks because it's looking so pretty all around the bottom there. That's not looking half bad, right? That's kind of cool. Adrian goes on to say it was 20 plus years ago and the board was a 8 by 2.5 foot board. Might have to ask if I can post some photos of his layout. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Model railways was never something I really ever took an interest in, actually, until recently, and I was just kind of, I suppose as I get older, I like trains, I don't know. Yeah. But it just kind of plays into the whole modelers thing, doesn't it? I like miniature things. I like making things small and painting them and making them look real and stuff. I think that might be my paint gone, which is good because I am done with that. Anything I need to touch up later on can come back and do it if I want to. That's a really nice effect. Don't know if the camera really kind of does it justice. I think it does. I think it does, and you can see like the actual colours there really paying off. If I just keep like pumping the airbrush, it kind of just shifts the last little bits of paint out. Hopefully, if it's not like built up into like a big blob, it should come out quite misty, quite fine. And just by helping get it across the bottom there, helps blend it all in. I like it. See, there's a couple of little bits in the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that so well. Just along the bottom there. That's probably just because I'm moving it around and it's still damp. So I'll come back and I can always edge those bits up later on. That looks like the whole thing is dry and ready to go. I'm really chuffed with that. Fantastic. Let me just run a little bit of cleaner through here. I'll just bring over my purge jug. Let's just flush that through. Yeah, it's looking really nice. Happy. Just a nice little different thing to have on the game board. There were lots of things that I could have done with the whole like base of it, and have like puddles or, you know, kind of textured terrain or, you know, craters or whatever. But I just don't want to be cliche. I don't want to overdo it. Less is more. It's a simple piece. It's a very elegant kind of structure, and I just thought if I went too much, it would just kind of distract from really what it is. So I kept it nice and simple. As I said last week, I've got another one that I'm really interested in making a lot more kind of involving, and I'm going to have it basically in the tyrannid terrain and kind of being pulled over and broken apart and pulled into like an acid pit or something with lots of vines and creepers. I thought it would be really cool. This one, the opposite, pretty elegant, old, simple. What do you guys think? Should I apply this mud on here, or is this enough, do you think? I'm going to give this a really good shake. why maybe you have a think about it. And I'll give you an idea of what the actual effect of this particular paint is, so you can see. Adrian goes on to say it is also the amount of skill you need. Modelling goes without saying, but you also need electrics, carpentry, and these days even a lot of computing, or a bit of computing. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I just like the whole thing. I think it's really involving. It's immersive, isn't it? Creating your own world. That's what it is. I think that's why I like kind of war games or models and things. It's its own little world. Yeah, wonderful. Just giving this a good shake. I really could do with getting a little vortex mixer. Really, that'd be my next purchase. I haven't got one at the moment because recently I bought myself a new mini drill. I'm very excited by the mini drill. So yeah, I've been talking about getting one for ages. Here it is. This is Proxxon mini drill. It is everything I need. At the moment, I just got my own little mini drill, like for my own little pin vice drill. Just got that little thing in the end there. It's really easy to use. Doesn't require a chuck spanner or anything like that. Just has this little button here which releases the collet. I can show you a bit more on that in a minute. It has just a simple on-off switch. Yeah, you can get a different model with an adjustable or variable speed thing on the back here. I didn't need that because the power adapter I have has that on there. So just down, let me just kind of move this out of the way a little bit. Just down here on the bench, I've got this power adapter with this thing on here. You can get a smaller one of these on the back of your drill if you have the non-variable speed power adapter. This is a 12-volt adapter. And is interchangeable with all the other Proxxon mini tools, etc., of which I already have. So I didn't need to get this one this time around because I have the little handheld sander with interchangeable sanding angles, things, and pads. And I cut my own ones out of different grit sandpaper and, you know, like craft glue, like Pritt Stick, and just paste them on the end. They don't last very long, but often you don't need them to do it. And they just have this little universal attachment on the end, which you just plug that into your power adapter, your transformer, and away you go. So yeah, I wanted to stay with Proxxon because there's lots of different things that I can do with all the tools. You can buy different things for the drill, for example, to turn it into a lathe, to turn it into a router, to turn it into a pillar drill. So I just thought over time I might want to do that. It's nice to have the one piece of equipment that just kind of has a lot of interchangeability. I thought it would be kind of cool. And Proxxon are just really, really good. Adam Savage has one. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. I was going to get a Dremel, but they're a bit of a powerhouse, as where these ones are, I think, a lot more refined, and they've also got a really narrow neck, which means you can hold them much more accurately, I think. So yeah, that was £28 off of eBay, no, Amazon. So they normally cost around about 30, sort of 35 quid. If you want one, go and have a little shop around on Amazon or on eBay because you can pick them up much cheaper. So yeah, definitely worth it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, let's have a little look at this. Ooh. Enamel paint pots. Sometimes if you haven't used them for a while, they seize. Just pull that one out of the way. Just get my little pin thing here to just lift that little seal off of here. Hopefully I don't send it flying. There we go. So you get an idea of the effect if I just lift this up. Kind of a mud effect. Yeah, I suppose really in the camera there it just kind of looks like a glossy brown thing, but it's like a perfect mixture to make it look like wet mud. Do I want that on the base here, or are those colours that I've just played with, are they good enough with static grass on there, or shall I just kind of run this around a little bit randomly in different areas to make it look like it's randomly wet mud? What are your opinions on this? I would love to know. Let's have a look because someone else is saying something. Jeff says, all my terrain is painted with Johnston's Mocha Brown house paint. There you go. Everyone's got their recipe. One random cat hair is not a part of my recipe. That can do one. Right. I don't need to do the mud thing yet. In fact, it probably is a good idea to leave it for a while. I can just come back to that. That's an opinion for later. What I want to do is I want to move on to things like rust streaks. I want to move on to streaking grime. This is the one I'm really going to get most of use out of. This is a wonderful thing. And I've also got a little bit of slimy grime, and you can see like examples of its application on the back here. They're just around the corner from where I live. There's a fence that looks almost identical to that, and it actually has this almost identical kind of creeping damp, if you like. And I just thought just in little areas, just in and around at the bottom, might look really nice. Just give this a bit of a shake as well. Wonderful. So, streaky grime. I'm going to pop that over there. I am going to need a little palette. Here is a little palette. Pop that on the side. I'm going to need some white spirit. I've got some thinner. Just pop it all around over here. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Where's all this cat hair coming from? Go away. It's exactly the same techniques as I've been using on my tanks. Just make sure that I've got a nice bit of paper there. Cool. So it's basically about kind of putting it in an area where I want it to be situated, and then just start running it down. This is a very irregular shape. This isn't something that we see all the time, and to identify where to apply it and how to actually affect it is going to be challenging. So I don't know how I'm going to start that yet. I think I could start at the bottom and kind of work from here and do grime streaks down, but actually I want to start from the top because it's all going to be kind of coming down. I don't want to be too heavy with it. I'm just kind of going to go for it and see where I end up. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think I'm supposed to do like a thin layer of thinner or spirit over the top, so I'm just going to get a little bit of that right now. Don't think I want too much. Let's get some spirit, white spirit. I'll load my brush up with that. Make a little pool of it just in my palette, which I think you just see in shot here. There we go. It's just a pool of spirit. No one cares. Right. The idea here is actually I end up removing most of it from the brush. I don't want to have a lot on here. I want to just have a slightly moistened surface, enough that when I put this effect on, it actually just assists it a little bit, makes it run smoother. You're just trying to saturate it but cover the whole base. Cool. Moving in with a little bit of streaking grime. This is hit the grim dark stage with a passion, and it's definitely worth having a go with. You can pick all these sort of weathering effects up for just a couple of pounds. I highly recommend them. Have a lot of fun. Be bold. Experiment. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it on the top ridge here because as you can see there's this kind of ridge line. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. The good thing about enamel paints is you can just take them straight off. That is going on really, really heavy, and you can see that gravity is already taking effect. That is way heavier than what I want. That's fine. I'm just going to wipe most of it off. Just over here. Yeah, and the idea is that I'm just going to come along with a little bit of white spirit on my brush. I'm just going to clean most of that out of there, and then I can just start running it down. You can see it all running. This is way too much, but it's fine. I can just kind of clean it away with a bit of spirit. Now, because this is a 3D print, you can see some lines kind of going, horizontally. That is something that I was very aware could happen. I don't want it to happen, so I'm going to try and tame this effect from doing that. I'm going to try and kind of coax it away. It's actually running away from me. It's actually being very difficult. So I'm actually going to go straight over to a clean spirit brush. I'm just going to try and clean this up a little bit. That's much better. I probably went in just very heavy with that effect. That's okay. I got some cotton over here where I can just kind of dab it away if need be. What I actually want to do, let's have a little bit of this effect. I just kind of want to like do some running lines. Basically, let's get rid of this. Let's absorb a lot of this. This is all very experimental here. That's actually just left a lot of hair and dust on that surface there. Okay, cool. Let's try again. Let's see what happens if I just kind of do some like streaky lines. If I just do something like this, there's going to be obviously a lot more grime along that edge, and then just trying to kind of blend it in. At the moment, this just looks like some really bad lines, and as I run some spirit over that in a minute, it's kind of just wipe down, it should soften that colour out. But that's much easier to handle than what was happening a minute ago. I should imagine there's probably not going to be an awful lot of dirt up here, thinking about it now. It's probably all just going to be washed down, run down, so I'm going to probably be a little bit lighter here and not necessarily affect this ridgeline too much. So I'm just going to, I'm going to change my tack. I'm going to do a little bit coming down here and just over the top of this gemstone. See what happens. I'll let that set for a second, I'll come back to it. And then on this side, kind of do the same, I suppose. A little bit out of shot here. Bring it back in. Here we go. I suppose we would kind of gather down this edge here, maybe. I think it would almost certainly gather along the top of these stones. So if I did that, that might be a good idea. Who knows? Making it up as I go. Good thing about putting some of this grime around the edge of the stones is it does neaten up the edge of them, because I was not particularly neat when it came to that. Okay, I'm going to use a big flat brush. I think I've got a nice flat brush. Yeah, the Citadel one here is pretty good for this. Put a bit of white spirit in there. Again, not saturated brush, just enough to kind of agitate and drag that effect down. So here we go. Let's see what this does. That's better, isn't it? That's better. I'm actually just trying to get rid of those harsh lines that I've painted, because they're unnecessary. They look really false and tiger stripy. And if I just keep on doing this, I'm actually getting some natural lines. Maybe a bit more white spirit. There we go. And I can like angle the brush in different ways to kind of get different effects. I can come back in with a bit of a cleaner area of the brush and just kind of neaten that whole area up. That's much better. Much better. Anyway, I'm going to carry on doing that for a minute. Let's we're about halfway through the show already. So yeah, we normally take a break around about here to kind of go and, you know, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, maybe get yourself a fresh drink or something. It's a Thursday, not a Friday, so don't go silly with the alcohol now. But don't let me tell you what to do. I'm going to carry on here for a minute, I think, because that's looking kind of cool. I'm really enjoying this process. I really like weathering. It's so fun to do. Just trying to make it look natural and random. That's the real trick. If you, like you've just experienced there, if I just kind of just paint heavy lines in, it just looks like you painted heavy lines in. That's not what you want, really. I don't want it all to be completely weathered. I want it to look light and patchy. So just in some areas, coming back in with a bit heavier white spirit. Sorry, I don't know if I said that clearly. Bit heavier white spirit. Just clean up like this little patch here or this little patch there. It's looking really good now. It's looking really good. Okay, getting somewhere. All right, cool. Well, you know what? We will take our little 10-minute break now. So if you do need to go stretch your legs, want to go get yourself a fresh brew or something, go refocus your eyes, change your paint water. You should definitely go change your paint water. Go do that now. And we'll be back here in about 10 minutes. See you soon. Welcome back. Hope you had a good break. I've just been studiously working away over here, just trying to refine that kind of running grime look. Getting somewhere. Again, don't want to spend immense amounts of time on it. Do want to have that kind of overall weather appearance sort of achieved by the end of the day. Getting somewhere. I'm really enjoying it. It's a very new shape. Yeah, I'll show you in a second. A couple of comments have gone in since we started that little intermission. Leslie says, sorry for my silence. I was spray painting trees. Then I got told off by the people outside. Then I realised I was inside and the people are absurd creations of my imagination. Good times. Yeah, dude, stop drinking the drain cleaner. That's my advice there. Luke, hi. Ear is playing up a bit, so I'll need to call that a shift. I hope the rest of the stream goes well. I hope you're feeling better, mate, soon, because, yeah, ear troubles, man. That sucks. That's horrible. I hope you feel better soon. Cool. I was just having a little look through bits and pieces that I had scheduled for this evening. Again, because it was a bit of a last-minute attempt to try and get the show up and running, I didn't really have like a whole ton of things that I wanted to kind of talk about and kind of share with you. But one of the things that I really did want to talk about was Out of This World minis on YouTube. It's one of our new subscribers. I believe the guy's called John. He has a very, very similar channel, I think, stateside, and it's definitely worth going on and having a little look. I've put a link to the channel in the description to this video. Do go on over and have a little look. He's become a subscriber to the show. Naturally, I've become a subscriber to his, and basically he's just been involved in minis, painting and war games and whatever for like all of his life, and just kind of paints things for the fun of it, and has a little show and does these little pre-recorded skits and shows you how he goes through the process, and it shows you the end product, and it's just a really nice and humble show, and he's been running for a little bit longer than Easy 8, and he's got a little bit of a larger audience than Easy 8, and I just feel that we're like a bit of a sister show to that, and that really makes me happy. So I hope it's John. If you're watching right now, man, or maybe you're watching back on replay because you're over in the States, thanks for joining and coming along to the community. Welcome to Easy 8's community. We're here along for the journey with you. So yeah, get involved, get chatting, send us some messages, spread the word, because it makes me happy that we've kind of got over there to you. It's fantastic. Yeah, if you know anyone who's interested in what we do here at Easy 8, get them to come along, like spread the word, because the community's starting to grow a little bit now, even though without Kyle I find that we're only kind of a halfway show, and when Kyle comes back it's going to be even better. So yeah, let them know, spread the word, drop them a line, yeah, bring them into the fold, one of us. Cool. Not going to linger too long on making silly Simon Pegg quotes. Right, take over to the workbench, show you what I've been doing. My music's getting louder, weird. So yeah, here's what it looks like at the top. Here's kind of how I paint it on. Looks really quite rubbishy. This might be a little bit too much at the top. I can always neaten it up. I like to let it dry a little bit. It's a little bit easier to kind of control. You're not wiping it straight off. So I've got a little bit of white spirit in the brush here, and it's just just look at the way that's affected. It's so much fun. I like it to be heavier at the top because you kind of get that build up effect where it kind of runs off into a finer and sort of narrow pinch. We've got Out of This World models. Thanks for the kind words. You're watching right now live. That is so exciting. Welcome to the show. I hope I got your name right. I didn't have time to go back over during the chat. I was like, I forgot his name. That's embarrassing. I've done that quite a lot. But hey, that's the wonders of doing a live show. Welcome to the live feed. Thank you so much for coming along. Perhaps this is something, the start of a nice little future together, running your show, running this one over here. Look forward to seeing you more often. That'd be great. So yeah, thanks. That's really kind. And you're welcome, by the way. You can see these like thick lines. This is where I've just kind of put a new line in there. The idea is to basically use this brush to hide the fact that is a paintbrush line and just make it a more natural looking run effect. Yeah, I'm not explaining it very well, but you can see what I'm trying to do. Thanks. I try to use the brush kind of narrow ways. It makes sense to try and actually create that sort of help create that triangle effect, and then I can just use it sideways and just kind of brush down really, really light. And if I'm a bit heavier at the bottom, I kind of eliminate the build up down there. This is so much fun. I love all this bit. It starts to obviously transfer down. That's kind of cool because obviously you're going to have like a build up in other places. I don't want it to look out of place, so I am quite keen to occasionally just kind of clean that little bit up down there, because I don't want it to look too dirty. I want the piece to look kind of alien clean. That's the best way I could describe what's in my head, because Eldar stuff is typically or traditionally painted to be quite clean. I kind of wanted this to have the same sort of vibe. Am I saying it right? Sometimes I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to consistently keep this kind of effect where it's running around the outside of these gems. Yeah, let's get a bit more white spirit on there. I think I've kind of run out a little bit. Maybe I should use a bit of thinner. See the difference that makes. Is it easier to control, perhaps? I think I actually need a softer brush. This is a pretty soft brush, to be fair. I need a soft, flat, and sometimes wide brush, and I think that might help. It's not that I haven't got control of this. It just takes a lot more effort than I think I need to be putting in to achieve these results. And I think having a softer brush will help. Not bad. It's a bit intense, isn't it? A bit contrasty. So in a bit I'll come back with a slightly damp brush when that kind of dries a bit more, and then I can again just agitate it, just with a really light effect, but just trying to get rid of those stark, obvious brush impressions that I've left on there. A couple just up here. Let soften those down. Just break that down a little bit, and then I'll soften all of this down again later on. I put a little bit on the inside here. That's looking really good. Yeah, okay, leave it. Don't overdo it. And now you can see the difference here. You can see where I obviously put these big lines in, and you can see how these are softer lines. Again, I'm gonna I can like come back in and just pow, pow, pow. I need to get some more spirit out. I'm gonna try a little bit of thinner and just see the difference. Let me just get rid of the spirit from the brush there. Okay. Because I've noticed this whilst doing the tanks, is that actually the thinner and the spirit, they do work differently. And all of the advice from the tutorials and things that I've watched, they use them in different combinations, and I struggle to get the same effect. So this is a real big learning curve here. I think that on the tanks, and I don't think it's going to work on this surface because of the lines, the print lines in there, is that they put a really, really, really thin layer of white spirit as a base to kind of help the capillary action of the effect the paint has, and then they use thinner to break it down, as where I've just been using just white spirit because in practice previously the thinner hasn't been cutting it for me. Leslie says, I get what you mean, I think, but I have to say the effects you have achieved on the Eldar structure is superb. Thanks, man. That's really kind. Cheers. I am literally making it up as I go along. So yay, that is an awful cup of tea. I'm not into that at all. That is bitter, stringent, and without flavour. Oh, it's rushing. You can see that where I've been handling the mud piece at the bottom there, that is kind of coming away, but that's fine. I want to say that there's a different effect here with the thinner. It's actually quite a bit more harsher, I think. That could just be because I'm going in heavy, I don't know. think I need to come back in and put a bit more paint here. Let me just use that piece of tissue just to absorb a lot of that product in the brush. Might be using a bit too much thinner. That's nicer. Okay, that's giving me a softer look. I think I've wiped away most of the effect there. Uh-oh. Okay, I can come back in and put some back in a minute. Right. Yeah, I think the thinner is actually more aggressive. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Let's get some spirit back out. I've actually got very little spirit left in my bottle. That's not what I want. Really want to finish this on air. I'm so upset that I haven't finished anything on air for such a long time. So if I could just at least get through this, that'll make me really happy. I was hoping to get through all the rust. I mean, the rust I think I'm going to do much lighter, a little bit of green at the bottom. I feel like I'm so close. Wish real hard, guys. Wish real hard. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Right, I'm just going to try and crack on, I think. I could be here all day. Bit of thinner in that enamel in there because it's been sat there for a while. Right. Last little panel bit at the bottom, and then I think I'm going to do the underside as well. Leslie says, I'm wishing! I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. It would be grimier at the bottom, right? That's what I was saying earlier on. Surely. Would be grimier at the bottom. That's my thought. I think that, you know, there'll be a lot of grime that kind of builds up under these, you know, cutouts, if you like. And it might kind of run down. Being quite inventive at the bottom here, just trying to create some sort of random effect. It's all very difficult to kind of think about how, you know, grime would really appear on here. It's very difficult. Thinking about being on the brassy section down here as well. I'm just going to kind of build it up a little on the heavier side and then just kind of put some spirit on there and just see what happens. I think it's probably the best thing to do if I just kind of mix some, maybe kind of put some in here in the little grates, the grills, and have it pouring up the sides perhaps. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. Okay, I've got an idea of that in a bit. Right, back to the spirit. Making it up as I go along. Leslie says, you know me so well. I do. That's proper cool, right? That looks really good. Very hard to achieve that kind of grimy look on that metal, so I might go in with the rust colors on there, even though brass doesn't necessarily rust like normal steels do, but it might just kind of be like a different color. And hey, you know, just because it looks like it's brass doesn't mean that it's an alien thing and it's different. Who knows? Just might look like brass, but maybe it rusts differently. Jeff says always lighter at the top, darker at the bottom, unless it's a chimney. Oh yeah, that's actually good advice, that. Yeah, just trying to keep the whole thing maintaining an air of prettiness is kind of my my sort of mission, if you like. It's looking pretty good. Just shift that out there. Okay, cool. Turn it around. Okay, one last little bit down there. Might have to do a little bit more on this section here because it's a little bit too clean, I think. So I might just reintroduce a little bit, just kind of here, kind of get some streaks going on. Nothing too major. I'll let those kind of reset there, and yeah, just to kind of re-enhance that panel there. I think a couple of blobs and blotches along the top, and then some run lines. I'm actually losing the intensity there because it was drying in the palette a little bit. Might have to get a bit more out of the pot. If I was doing this on a tank, I would really be taking my time, but as I've said so many times so far, this whole piece, this whole project has just been about getting something done pretty quickly, relatively attractive. So I'm deliberately not taking my time, making it quite messy, not doing it as well as I normally would. It's kind of the whole project, really. I am going to take a little bit more out of the pot there. There we go, just a little bit. Right. Yeah, see, on this side here, much stronger. This side over here, much softer. So I will soften this one down, bring this one up a little bit. It should all work. Okay, here we go. Let's get a bit of spirit on the brush. A little bit of evaporation going on there. I'm actually using a bit of spirit, but okay. Here we go. It's actually quite difficult to do it quite close to the base down here. Adrian says, just popped a photo on the Facebook page. I think now I've now got my recipe for my tiger tracks. It was looking really good the other day, man. I think you're on to a winner, so well done on that one. Thanks for posting up on the page. It's really exciting. Don't forget, if you are new, then head on over to Facebook, because just like Adrian's done, people put pictures up there all the time, and you might find them inspiring or motivating or just really nice to look at. Head on over, have a little look. I think we're getting somewhere. Bit too much cleaner on my brush there, that's going to ruin everything. Just find it quite difficult to get in quite close to the base here. Look at all the damage I've done to the sculptamould, all that white coming through. Oops. Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. A couple of stark lines here, just trying to soften those down. That is lovely. Right, okay, cool. I am going to quickly, on the underside here, just get some grime just loosely on here. So that I can just kind of cover it a little bit. There's a lot of kind of nastiness kind of going on the inside here as well. There would just be grime in here, right? So I'm just going to kind of do this. Do a little bit of building up, some around some of the details. Just to bring a little bit of character to the inside, because it's obviously going to be much cleaner. But over the years of whatever, it would have got grimy. So my idea here is to just kind of shift some stuff around. Get some like staining in there, if you like a filter, I suppose. Just make it look a little bit grubby. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Okay, cool. I don't want to waste any more time. I want to just kind of get some more colours on there. So the next colour I'm going to go for, I'm going to let that kind of dry for a minute. I'm going to come in with some rust effects, and I'm going to get it on the brass colour in there, and then hopefully that'll just kind of bring a little bit of character to that area. Not a massive amount. I'm not trying to make it look rusty. It needs a bit of a shake. Yeah, just a little. need to get some more spirit. Need to clean off my other brush, so I need 2 dollops of this. One to clean it all off in. Right, drop that there. Rushing, I feel like I'm against the clock. Feels like a game show. I'm in, I'm doing it. Here we go. Let's wash this one off. One brush washed. Let's get straight in with the rust colour. Okay, where to pick it up from? So I'm just going to kind of do a little bit across the top up here, and then mostly just kind of coming out the vents, I think. So if I just do like a little bit across there, that is running much more uncontrollably than the other one was. It's a nice colour though, works really well with that brassy colour. Just in some random patches in these little grills. Again, just to kind of give it some colour. And if I kind of go in a little bit heavier than I normally would, when I drop them down, it might actually naturally run. And that might be quite nice. But I want to have some little runnels. Is runnel the right word here? Coming out the side of these little bits. So I'm just going to, yeah, build it up in there. I wonder if it's a bit more runny because I've obviously got spirit in the brush there from cleaning it. I thought I'd kind of cleaned that out nice and clean. Not the best sentence. But yeah, I don't know if I got all the spirit out of it perhaps. So I'm just trying to get something to kind of come out the sides. Just kind of make it look like it's running down here. Maybe like a verdigris colour would have been more appropriate. I don't have a verdigris colour, so I could just kind of hit some turquoisey colours in a bit later on as a little bit of a touch-up thing for it later perhaps. Maybe that would be kind of cool. Just wanted to add a little bit of dynamic colour, a little bit of flair to this part of the structure. And I'll let that dry, and then I'll come back in and affect it with some spirit in a minute. Don't really know what is the best way to make it look natural. How water runs down the inside of a curve like that is something that is not a part of my normal study. So yeah, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, and I'm enjoying myself. Who cares about anything else, right? Right. That's all I really wanted to do with that. Wash the brush out again. I have just cunningly washed my brush off in the water, and now I have little beads of spirit floating around in there. That wasn't the best idea. Right, okay. Don't be like Danny. Be a pro. Clever me. Okay. Really excited about using this. This is why I want to rush it, because it's going to look awesome, I hope. I've never used it before. I think I've opened it once and gone, ooh, that's a nice green colour, and the idea is that this time in kind of much the opposite way. I want to kind of get like the grime going upwards. So we'll see what happens. Adrian says you could create a green wash. What do you mean for the brassy colour, the bronze colour? Yeah, yeah, exactly what I was thinking. I could do. Maybe this colour will help with it. I don't know. Again, wasn't really intent on making it look human, natural, like it's supposed to be, like an alien structure. So yeah, I just thought of something else as well. I could put moss on this as well, couldn't I? As a later thing, when I do the static grass, I could like do clumps of ivy or moss and things kind of growing over it, and then have that maybe sitting right over the top up here. That would look really good. Anyway, gotta get the static grass on it first. Okay, I am here with. You haven't even broke the seal on this. That is amazing. Freshly opened. Let's move you over there a little bit. Here we go. Oh, it's a new seal. Oh my god. cannot open it. Urgh. I need to get a knife. This is how impatient I get. This is why I impulse buy things. There we go. Okay, cool. Such a cool colour. I'm really excited about this whole thing. Now that I've broke that seal, I actually need to put the lid back on to kind of get it jammed in the top of the lid like it should be. Let's give it one more shake. There we go. Exciting. So I'm just gonna get a puddle of this over here on my palette. A bit easier to control. And I don't think I want to go crazy with this. It's more just putting maybe like a line down the bottom, letting it dry for a minute, and come back in and just kind of softening up, softly brushing up. I'm getting so excited, I'm not even making words anymore. Yeah, so I'm just going to put a line down here. Gonna go in quite heavy because I don't really know what to take away from this yet. It's quite fun, right? I'm being really liberal with this. I don't know if I should be. Just going to do some like random strokes upwards, just see if that achieves anything different. Now I know that when I go in a minute with the spirit brush, that's going to affect the other colours on there that I've just put on. Normally I would put like a layer of varnish on there. I'm just not really interested in making, you know, that much of an effort on this. Yeah, that's my thought on it. Being quite untidy with it at the back here as well. Whatever. Kind of doing some like loose upward strokes here, because that will help obviously achieve the right look. Actually, just by doing this is actually quite a nice effect, but I do want it to be softer, which is where that brush is going to come in a minute with the spirit on there. Cool. That's just really nice, just yeah, as it is. Wash that brush out. It's looking really cool. I'm really happy with it. What do you guys think about the mud wash? Shall I put the mud wash on the base as well when this is obviously all dried? Should I put that on there, or should I just static grass right on top of what we've already achieved here? Really interested to know what everyone thinks about that. Sometimes I do go overboard with a lot of the effects because I just got them to hand, like, yeah, I'll just put everything on there. But actually I think that colour there is okay. Maybe once I got the static grass on it, I could come in with some blotches and make it look like there are some damper patches, because it will have like that. It's going to have that wet mud effect, so it could look patchy. That might be quite nice. Don't know. Right. I also just want to soften the whole effect across, especially at the top up here. Got these really stark lines there. Having stark lines at the bottom, like Jeff said earlier, that's nice to have at the bottom, but actually at the top, probably a little softer. If I'm going to put moss up there, then they're going to be holding a lot more of the dirt, grime, whatever, so you're going to have more of it coming out of that area. So, who knows? Just giving that a little chance to set down there. And I'm going to come in now. Spirit on this brush. I'm gonna make sure that most of that's been absorbed. I don't want to be heavy with this at all. Just gently feather up. So I'm going to start here because it's already quite a nice effect down there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, Leslie says I'm thinking no to the mud wash. What you've got already done looks really cool. Okay, yeah, thanks. And yeah, I get it. I like this damp effect, it's really nice. Taking a lot of the colour off of the sculptor mold down there with the brush when I touch it. Oops. That's really nice. That is really, really nice. Gonna go in a bit heavier with the old spirit. I think it was a little too gentle there. Okay, on this side now. I'm really happy with the whole thing. It's looking really cool. So just the last little bit now, which is just going on those rust effects on the front here. Just a couple of very quick strokes down. There we go. Don't really know what I'm trying to achieve with this rusty colour. Just kind of wanted to have a little bit of, I don't know, just something in there. It looks good. It's okay. Wonderful. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of come over with a really big soft brush, my big tank brush here. Just going to pick up what's left of the spirit. I'm going to just get most of it off and just ever so lightly, just over the whole thing here. Just soften it. Just soften the whole effect. This may take a second. I don't want to make sure that I'm overdoing it, because I don't want to lose any of the cool stuff I've had. Where you get like one really cool streak, one really cool effect, if you it's really easy to just kind of ruin it and undoing it all. Need a bit more spirit, just a smidge. We're not too far from the end of tonight's show, but I actually think this project is almost there, really. And I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the way it's gone. Of course, I've got some tweaks and things that I want to make to it. Static grass, maybe some moss and whatever. But that's not going to be a really exciting thing to watch in the show. Not that this has been particularly exciting, but you know what I mean. So yeah, this general weathering was where I wanted to end this project with on the show. So that's a success. This softening technique is actually really paying off. I think that has given a nice kind of a gradual tone from the top there to the bottom. Try not make it look too tiger stripey. That has definitely been something that I've been trying to avoid. So just trying to soften down a lot of the really stark lines, maybe reducing as many as there actually are. Trying to make it not look so systematic, making it look much more random. There we go. One last thing to do, and that's just to neaten up the terrain at the bottom there. I'm just going to put a little bit more brown in the airbrush, just to neaten up where I've been going over it. I knew that was going to happen. I wouldn't normally paint the bottom of it. I just kind of wanted to tie it all in so that it looked nicer as we kind of went on, and you kind of get a better idea for it. Just having a look at what everyone said. Jeff has basically said, have you noticed it's given it an almost marble effect? It has, yeah. It was absolutely not intentional. There are ways of achieving marble effects with the airbrush. I've not done those today. Yeah. I'm not going to put so much of my normal recipe into this airbrush here. Just one drop of flow improver. I'll put a little drop of thinner in there. I haven't put so much in because I'm only kind of patching up as I go. Oh, I put in 2 drops, that was an accident. Give it a little mix in the bottom of the hopper there. Okay. Do you know, when this is all said and done, I might actually go in with a bit more of the green after the grass. I think that might be a really nice touch. I like where it is at the moment, however. This is going to take like all night to really dry this sculptamould. If you've never used it before, you really need to have a go, even if it's just to have a little play around with it. Maybe find someone who's got some, or see if you can like order a small pack, because it's really fun. It kind of takes you back, right back to being a kid playing with paper mache. Every kid loves playing with paper mache, right? That is flipping awesome. Really happy with how this really simple project has come along. I've just kind of made it up as I've gone along. I've gone in with no like predetermined thing, just a general kind of concept, a theme, and made it up as I've gone along, and I'm really happy with that, because sometimes I get like an idea in my head and I'm like, this is how it's going to look, this is how it's going to be, and it's not always like that when it kind of comes out. This is very close to what was in my head. Obviously there's a lot of grass to go on there yet. I've got some other, just kind of get what I've left in the airbrush, get rid of that there before it dries. Let me purge and I'll carry on talking what I was talking about. Put a bit of water through here. So yeah, I could put some rocks and things on there. I don't want to like anything massive. I've got some old bits of cork mat here. There's also bits of like cork rock pieces. I've got some like cork lumps. I could just kind of pick up anything from the garden, maybe some stones, and I might just kind of dot them around. I thought about having a skull or something like that. Unnecessary. Again, less is more. It was just supposed to be this thing. I could do vines hanging off it, but I think that might be a bit over the top, so I'm definitely going to get some static grass along the base, and then I might put a little bit in like the little cutouts down the side here. So yeah, there'll be a little bit of grass kind of sitting in there, and then I think I might just do some gentle ivy or moss effects. That's just getting some clump scatter and just kind of patching it all on, and that might really enhance it. Yeah, really happy with this. Those effects do take a long time to kind of really work through, so I was hoping that I would get through them quicker tonight, but obviously, you know, there's a learning thing here, isn't there? This is a new shape. It's not normal. It's not it's not something that we experience and see kind of these patterns running down it on a day-to-day basis. Like the damp and things, I can go out around a corner or out in my back garden, I can see how rising damp turns green, and that's a very obvious thing. I think I'm going to go in heavier with that later, because I think it'll look really nice. But it's just trying to, like, in your mind's eye, just trying to see where these lines would appear, how would this sort of shape of structure, how would grime run down it. And I can see that I've got a little bit of spirit left in here. There's a couple of bits on here which I'm not too keen on. This little bit here, so if I bring that in nice and close, this little patch here to me just looks a little bit rubbish, so I can just come in now and just kind of soften that whole thing down. But I don't want to completely deteriorate the whole effect here. It's also very hard to get in there at the moment, so I'm going to come in with this one, which is a little bit heavier, but a bit more precise. So I can use the very tip of this brush, and just kind of affect that. And already that is a much better effect. Just trying to get rid of like heavy dollops of it is the only way I can really describe it. A dollop, you know, where I've clearly applied it by the brush. I didn't want there to be that pattern. And it's very easy to kind of get involved in this runaway effect. Know when to leave it. And basically I can't. It's looking really good. What happens if I rub that sideways? What happens if I do that? I've ruined it. Okay, cool. see what I mean? It has feathered it out a little bit more. I did want the bottom to be more grimier. That's cool. Leslie says he thinks it looks flipping awesome. I think it looks really, really cool. Thank you very much, Leslie. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? I've got a little bit of clean spirit left in there, so I'm just going to put that on in my brush, make sure that is a clean brush, and I'm just going to give a quick wipe over these gemstones like that, just to make sure they got a little bit of shine on them, because where this streaking grime or whatever other effects I put on there, when they touch that surface they become really quite matted very, very quickly, because it's obviously just a new surface layer, isn't it? So what I can do is I can come back in and just put another layer of gloss on them. If I'm going to protect the whole thing and give it one big blast of matte varnish or something like I did before I started doing this, then I'm going to completely cover over those gloss effects, and I'll have to come back in and do them. It takes seconds actually to do that. Once you start at the top and you've kind of worked your way down, the top one's dry, so you can actually just go like application, second application, third application, and it builds up a nice smooth surface as well, which just kind of adds to that effect. Anyway, yeah, this is my Eldar Webway Portal as a quick project. I hope you like. It has been fun doing this. I've got another one. I'm going to turn it into some Tyranid terrain. Jeff says he likes it. Thanks very much. I could certainly do better. Didn't want to really put an awful lot of time into it. It's already taken me several weeks. So yeah, I will do more to it. Let me come away from the workbench here. Where am I? Here I am. Hello. Yeah, I'm going to do more to it, like add some grass. I've said that so many times already. You know what I'm going to do. Once that is done, maybe I've got like a spare half a day on my holiday or something and I'm here in the house, I might kind of put some of that on there. Once it's all done, I'll upload photos on Facebook, I'll put them all over at Instagram, because I like to do that on Instagram too, and then yeah, as and when it is done, I'll bring it onto the show in the future and kind of talk about it, and you guys can say what you like or don't like about it, etc. I've had a lot of fun doing it. What has been upsetting today is the quality of the tea, and it's entirely my fault. It's not good. It's an awful cup of tea. It's actually making me feel quite upset. Okay. So, look, it's been a great evening. Thank you so much to everyone who came along to watch live on a Thursday, which is not our normal prescribed time. It's really nice to have that support from the community. Thank you to Out of This World Minis for coming along and watching us live from the other side of the Great Pond. I'm so happy about that. So yeah, cheers. Your support means everything to me. It's wonderful. I've got one more day of work tomorrow. It's an early start, and then I'm off for like a whole week, and I'm going to go and do lots of really cool things. I'm going to go on a hot air balloon ride. Yeah, I'm going to go see an aquarium, because I've never been to an aquarium before. I don't really like zoos, but is an aquarium different for me? I don't know. I'm going to go caving. I'm going to go and see some of the great outdoors that has been so long since I've been in it because of the pandemic and lockdown and whatever, and I'm really looking forward to this holiday. As for next week's show, I am obviously going to be on holiday for that week. I don't know if I'm going to be here on the Friday. I think I am. I would like to be. If I am not able to set up next week's show for that Friday, I will communicate on Facebook, and I will do a better job of it than I have done for today this week, and I'll let you know what's happening. Maybe a few snapshots of my holiday up on the Facebook page, so stay tuned for that perhaps. And yeah, if it's not going to be on Friday, maybe I'll do it on a Saturday. And I know there's a few of you that always watch back on playback and aren't able to watch on a Friday, so maybe a Saturday might be a nice alternative. Of course, we really want to get Kyle back on the show, and that might mean that I really have to like struggle to get it on the Friday. I don't know how it's going to work, and it's going to be day by day. I don't really care because I deserve a holiday. It's been a long time, so yeah, that's that. Here's my portal. Isn't it so lovely? Yeah, it looks good from a distance. You know it's not that great when it looks better from afar. I hope you guys have got loads done tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I really do hope that you take a lot from the show because it means a lot to me. I'd love to see what you guys have been up to. Adrian's already posted photos of all of his tanks, etc. So yeah, give us some work in progress. Head on over to the Discord. I'm not going to be there this evening because yeah, early start tomorrow, right? But get some photos up there. There's loads of channels on the Discord thing where you can put up works in progress, finished projects. Just get chatting if you want to. Yeah. Until next week, stay safe, be kind to each other, keep on painting, and I will see you next week, hopefully. Take care for now. Cheerio. Bye-bye. Eldar Webway Portal. Right, where's my static grass?